Welcome back, everyone, to Vox Markets. My name is Paul Hill, and I'm delighted again to be able to speak to CEO Sukh Chamdal and interim CFO David Forth of CakeBox, the UK's go-to provider of egg-free celebration luxury cakes. So welcome, gents.
Welcome. Hello.
Well, a lot's been happening over the past few months, not least today's positive year-end trading update with sales up 50% to what I calculate is roughly just south of sort of £33 million, and adjusted PBT in line with market expectations. I think Shore Capital on about £7 million on that. So perhaps we can start there, Sukh. You know, given the more austere environment, we start seeing a bit of a consumer belt tightening. What's been driving the sort of like market-beating top-line growth?
Absolutely. And we were born in 2008 in March at the height of the recession. And when there is a recession, when there's a pandemic, we're all going to go to like, and that is that we will tighten our belt across the board, or we won't do our dry cleaning, we won't do our shoe or buy a new pair of shoes for a little while, but we're going to make sure that we celebrate that birthday. And we're going to make sure that we put all our efforts, we save a little bit extra and make sure that birthday treat is always done. And that's been true of the whole of our life. When we started to the recessions, to the pandemic, we will always celebrate, and we are the market leaders out there. So you're going to come to us when you want a cake to celebrate that birthday. And it's reflected in the sales upbeat, despite what's happening in the pandemic, despite what the prices of energy going up, and we're going to have the cost of living going up, but we are always going to have a celebration cake, and we offer that celebration cake at a reasonable price at your convenience when you want it.
And is that really, that's really an important point for investors to take away. It's a celebration cake from CakeBox is basically almost a non-discretionary, if it's your birthday or for Christmas, sort of affordable treat that people look forward to. And you rightly say they may not go out for the 10th coffee in a week, but actually they're not, when they get family around and it's an important occasion for the whole sort of like, broader friends and family, then they're not going to basically scrimp and scrape on a low beat rubbish cake. They're going to go for something which is actually quite very nice and tasty and a good price.
Oh, absolutely. And what they do, they're going to concentrate on that celebration, and they're going to make a point of that celebration, because that celebration means more in this time of belt tightening.
And what's sort of like the typical demographic of CakeBox in terms of, is it sort of like your, I don't know, middle class sort of like people who are working, so they, basically, and they look forward, they work hard and look forward to a nice treat?
What it is, our demographics is everybody.
Right.
65 million people in this country, 365 days in the year, 180,000 birthdays need to be celebrated every day. And so you want the cake which you like, which is best, which is fresh, available on demand, and that's where we are.
Great, look forward to it. Well, okay then, David. Just on the sales, I did notice that your like-for-like sales on the store for existing stores was 12%. How does that broadly split between sort of price and volume? Are you selling more through the stores, or is it basically a bit of mix between price and volume?
No, actually, it is mostly volume, because when people open a store, it gradually builds its sales. And so with the like-for-like, obviously that's the last 12 months, but it includes the upwards trajectory of the stores that have been opened in the preceding several years. So this is
most of it is new
volume.
Okay, so it's basically existing customers buying more frequently, or alternatively new customers coming to the store as well. So you're just selling a lot more cakes, yeah.
Well, I mean, it is certainly people finding out about us because they go to a party, they see a lovely cake, and they say, "Where did you get that?"
Yeah, no, I've done that myself. So we've had a lot of ambassadors. When my father got he's had 80th and stuff, they love it. They're definitely disciples now. Just in terms of the online and click and collect, I did notice that was up particularly strongly the last 10 months, or around about 27% or so. So it's even growing faster than the stores. How much does online now represent as the sort of the total franchise turnover?
Yeah, it is about a third.
A third. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 30%, something along those lines. And it is, as you say, growing. And also, we are looking to make some enhancements in the way we market ourselves through the site. So it's very exciting for us.
Yeah, good. And then Sukh, just in terms of, I did notice you've got ASDA, that rollout, and I know these guys are quite sort of, prudent and very astute operators, and sort of like you started off with a small footprint of around about 7 in the first half, and you've almost doubled that. I know it's a small sort of, but that's a massive uplift already.
That's right. We've got 15 operating already, and as the refreshes their stores, and we get a chance to go into them, and so we're looking for every opportunity that's available. And as has given us that opportunity to go into as many stores as they refurbish, so it can. We're looking forward to an increased presence by the end of the year.
Great. Okay. And ultimately, they've got about 300 superstores, I think, in the UK, isn't it?
Well, that's on my wish list, but it all comes down to how fast they refurbish. And as you know, the bigger brands, all plans change and there's delays, etc. But we've got a very positive relationship with them, and we will try and entertain as many stores as we can.
Yeah, well, I look at it when you started this company back. It was, I don't know, at 89. You've delivered on a lot of your wishes there, Sukh. So I wouldn't be a betting man against being able to roll out some more stores in ASDA. That's for sure. Or sort of like kiosks. Now, just on the cost inflation, David. How are you managing that? Because obviously with Ukraine as well, you've had an increase in corn prices, which is obviously must have hit flour. You've had increases in, energy has just gone massive in terms of, sort of like gas and electricity prices. But I'm guessing also sort of delivery and freight with oil, and because that's obviously ballooned out. So how are you managing in terms of that whole complex of input price inflation?
Well, we obviously manage it carefully, but so far in the past, we've been able to absorb the input price increases. Now, obviously, some of those price increases are larger than in previous years, but because our volume continues to grow, we are able to negotiate discounts and rebates, and we have the facility, obviously, to pass it on ultimately to the consumer, but through the franchisees. But we're able to pass it on in a measured way if we need to. And I think we've got a very astute purchasing department who've been able to work wonders with some of the prices of the flour mixes and stuff like that. And actually, interestingly, the freight story has actually improved, because I think with the slowing of international trade, the stuff that we do buy in, and there's not that much from overseas, is coming in containers, which are cheaper than they were previous year.
Wow, that's incredible. But obviously, your franchisees, though, will be seeing a bit of a cost squeeze, because they're increasing wages, and they're also getting, I think business rates are going up. The VAT holiday is also ending, and there's a whole series of new NIs going up, etc. So presumably, I mean, when it comes to sort of like setting sales prices of the cakes, there is flexibility locally to be able to, in a higher cost area, say for instance London, you could the franchisees does have some discretion presumably, or is it all one price across the country?
No, we are same price across the country from up to Scotland, and but we do maintain our franchisees' margins at 63%, and we tend to hold it at that. but with, as the all inflationary pressures go up and with the rates coming back, the franchises have had a good run where they had grants, they had no rates for the last 2 years. And so they've had a very good last couple of years. And now with the rates all coming back, they are going to have a little bit of a pressure. But we did have a retail price increase in January. And if need be, or there's also possibility of a small retail price rise in the next few months.
Okay.
But we will see how that goes, because we don't like putting prices up. We don't put prices up for retail prices up. We only put retail price up every 2 years.
Right.
And but again, we look after the franchisees, we look after their margins, and we will do whatever's necessary to maintain those margins.
Right. Well, we know CPI is up to over 7%, so and it's going to 8 or 9% next month with higher energy prices. So that'll be sweet music to consumers, sort of ears if they haven't got to pay for a big celebration cake, more for a celebration cake anyway. And just so in terms of recent trading over the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, etc., how's that sort of the bean? Is it still it's a non-discretionary affordable treat for people, that's definite, and that's got us through the recessions. But in terms of just the last few weeks, etc., have you seen any difference at the coalface, or is it still very much in line with what has been with historical trends?
We are still in uncharted waters because we've virtually, come to the end of the pandemic in terms of the freedoms that we've got, restrictions, COVID tests to go abroad. So it's going to be really interesting to get the data back at the end of the month, because people haven't been able to go on holiday for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? And now with all the restrictions ending, flights are being chartered again, and the freedom has come. So this Easter, we would see that a lot of people would be using the funds that they've all built up over the last couple of years to have a really good holiday this Easter, and possibly this summer as well. Yeah. And so we would expect across the whole board, not just us, but the whole retail environment, there probably will be a slight downshift in consumer spending, but we're in the position that we will be non-discretionary. So they will still come to us, and this will be, now the retail has opened up, or there's other things to spend on, but we're in the fortunate position that you have to have a birthday cake.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I guess what you need to do is get that online delivery, so you could do it in Spain and Portugal, can't you? It's sort of like chilled.
Yeah, but what we should do is that we should give them so they can take the cake with them.
Right, well, certainly been able to do it on the day. If they love a cake box cake and they've got a birthday abroad on holiday, then being able to have it there at the seaside would be just fab, wouldn't it? Particularly in the evening. I
have volunteered personally to deliver them, but David's not paying on my ticket.
Okay, well, I can just about understand that at the moment. Now, just shifting tack to the recent sort of reporting and management, sort of changes which have happened. David, can you just take us through the progress of that internal audit being done by BDO, and just sort of, I mean, presumably, obviously there was a blogger, I think, from ShareScope who pointed out some technical inconsistency between the prelims last year and the audited accounts, which made no difference at all in terms of the grand scale of things. But it obviously didn't. It changed investor sentiment. Can you just walk us through the whole lot? From, I know you've only been there for a month, etc. But sort of like, what's your sort of first view of it?
Well, I think it was a very wise move bringing BDO in, because it has enabled us to put a floor on this on these issues, and we're working closely with them to test and improve where necessary on our controls. And I've worked before, actually several times, with the not with this specific team, but with BDO in internal audit, and it's a very high quality team. And we're working very well with them, and we're not having the sort of worries and problems which perhaps some of the readers of these blog stories would have expected to find. So I think it's a very very good part of our armory in building and restoring investor confidence.
And the prelims are going to be at what normal time, sort of, is it back end of June, is it, or something? That's the
that's our plan, and there's no particular reason for us to delay that, which is again part of investor confidence.
Good. And I see also, Sukh, you've brought a new marketing director and COO on board as well. What's the sort of is that really just to sort of like beef out the sort of the top table to make sure that as you expand, you've got the resource there to do it?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, we are growing at a faster pace, and now we've got to a position where we need to strengthen our top team and get more professional people in, some people with the vast experience in the industry to allow us to get to the next step. I think myself and Pardip and Doc took it up to a level, and now we need to step one more step up. And so we're investing in people, and we're investing in for the future. And so this year's cost in hiring all these people will result in the next few years as they take the business up to the next level.
Yeah, well, we know that the trajectory is pretty big, so and the ambition's pretty big, so that'll be excellent. Now, David, I did notice the year-end cash position has ticked up again to I think it's just over £5 million from four only sort of 6 months ago, and 3 point or something, or 3.6 the year before. So you seem to be accumulating, despite these investments, you're still being accumulating cash. What's the sort of the investment plans? Or is it all organic, dividends, M&A? You know, what is the board looking at?
Well, of course, I mean, to start with, this is a very great, I mean, it is a lovely position to be in, sitting on, given the size of the business, a little growing cash mountain. And I think in terms of how we invest it, that's really going to be a question for the board as we go forward. But I'm quite confident that it will be invested in the best interest of all of our stakeholders. And of course, I have to say that, you know, that I am an interim manager. Quite often I've been in businesses which have really had cash problems, and it puts pressure on the whole business because suppliers get uncomfortable and so on. One of the great things about having this much cash is that our suppliers can be confident in us. New franchisees coming in can be confident that they're joining a business which is very sound and secure. And so this really insulates us to a large extent, actually, from some of those business pressures.
Okay. Well, with all that sort of the cash, then, in terms of new stores for this year, just the broad sort of direction of travel, Sukh, you've increased the year end. I think it was 185 stores, which is an up by 31 over the 12 months, which I think is exactly in line with your plan. Actually, I think you had 32, so well done there. What are you looking at, given that the online is going so strongly? What are you looking at for sort of store openings for this current year?
Again, our plan has always been 18 to 24 stores across the year, plus more different locations. For like example, the ASDAs, the shopping centre kiosks. And we're always exploring other locations that we can go into. And also we maintain our store rollout for 18 to 24 and another 10 to 20 other locations, so that we can hit our target of 250 stores as we promised in our IPO within the 5 years.
Right. And so wrapping all that into all together, etc., the broad outlook for this year, admittedly it's very early, Sukh, it's very early days in terms of, sort of the new year, etc. And as you talked about with the holidays, etc., maybe potentially with Easter and the summer, etc. When you put all that sort of the lens together, what's the sort of the view then for this next 12 months?
Well, I'm very positive. As we've done for year after year after, or we've delivered what we've said, and I'm very confident of delivering or what we said and all the forecasts there. We anticipate that will be in line with all our forecasts. And you're always going to get different circumstances, or like you got the hot weather, you get holidays coming, end of pandemic. But again, we've all got to celebrate that birthday. Yeah. And we've just got to make sure as a company that you're forefront in your mind that we're going to have a cake box cake to celebrate. Yeah.
Well, I did notice, I mean, Shore Capital have got, I think for their PBT is up about 11% year on year to £7.8 million for this coming year. And based on that, and you look at it sort of myself and the EBITDA margins, and you put a sort of 12 to 15 times multiple on it, you get a valuation of roughly around about £2.75 to £3.40 compared to a share price which is just south of £2. So it just shows there is significant upside opportunity there for investors, which hasn't actually been lost on a very astute investor. I did see Richard Penny recently joined in, and he bought 4%, who I've interviewed from Crux Asset Management, and he's one of the sharpest pins in the box. So he's definitely a world-class investor who believes in the story as well. So really good. In terms of just finally then the news flow, Sukh, I'm just guessing then it's going to be really, you go into a quiet period, and essentially it's going to be all systems go after the prelims in terms of.
Oh, absolutely. We know our peaks, or we haven't got any surprises in our business. We know exactly when the peaks are going to be. You've got the religious holidays, Eid, Diwali, etc. You've got the Christmases, you've got the summer holidays, you've got the GCSE results, A-level results. And so we're always going to have those peaks, but in between, we work into or increase the availability of our cakes all across the country. And as we grow, the brand awareness goes up. We've just recently opened in Plymouth, right in the southern state. And we've got Exeter coming up. We've got so many exciting places that we're opening up. And I'm looking forward to serving our cake to people who never had it before. Yeah. And once they've tasted it, as you know, it's the product. And product combined with exceptional customer service and the availability, you can have the cake when you want it, how you want it, online, in store, or delivered. So right. We want to continue giving that service to all our customers and all our new customers.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks very much, guys, for the terrific insights, and look forward for the positive trading for the rest of the year, and touch base again for the prelims in June. So thanks very much, guys.
Thank you, Paul.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks, Paul.